All my cool. Notifications working, huh? That's good. That's definitely good. Because definitely gonna want to hear what I got to say. Just gonna throw this away. Whoops. Oh, now it's working. My notifications want to work today. I got something to say. I tried to take a screenshot of something earlier. If you've been in Drag Chat or if you looked on Google Plus, you'll notice that I have unsubbed from all of his shit. You heard that right, folks. You heard that right. It's almost as if it's aptly timed. But yeah, I just said boop, boop, so he can live on the outskirts of whatever community he wants to attach himself to and go play with little boyfriends. But not only him, but taking measures to ice out little boyfriends too. Veckle included. You don't need to be a part of this shit. Spoken certainly don't need to be a part of it. And true empiricism either. Not worth anybody's time. So we have some lulz cows because notice something. Y'all probably noticed this too. Even though it's quite obvious that they aren't worthy of even having discourse with, the toxicity level of these individuals is far too high. Far, far too high. And again, it's personal decision. Myself, some people haven't even subscribed to them just out of principle, which you know, I definitely get. Some of them did because they knew I would just do reviews of the stupid shit and they just watch it here. But yeah, comes a time when all good things have to end. So it is what it is. But there's always a good lulz cow around. There's always people saying very interesting things. So I just so happened to when I posted my screenshot of me just unsubbing from Jackass and shit, I noticed that Tommy Hall posted something. Tommy, what I love about Tommy, and I'm going to go in on Tommy. If Tommy's booty hole's a little sore after this, then it should be a familiar feeling. Tommy is one of these guys. He reminds me a lot of somebody else who just kind of came into the community, where they're not going to actually go out and learn and obtain an expertise or certification or, you know, a mastery of any topic. They're not going to actually challenge themselves. They're going to sit on the internet and pretend they know shit and then, you know, be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with people who are actually learned. Now, drag somebody gets a degree, does that mean they know everything? Certainly not. Certainly not. But they do have a stronger command of the knowledge in the area than people who haven't. I mean, that's, I could have sworn that was an uncontroversial you know, statement, but as of recently, I've learned that it's fairly controversial. But I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think I understand. It's maybe, and me and someone else were talking about this. It really does show that, you know, how you're raised has a dramatic impact on you as an adult. You know, whether or not you grow up to be a maladjusted adult is based on certain values instilled within you. So if your parents value not saying poopy snoodlekins versus having integrity and hard work and earning the things that you get in life. That will help determine the things that you value as an adult, which proof is in the pudding. In most cases, I would say. Most cases, not all the time. Certainly, there are exceptions. So, what's interesting, what's very interesting, is let's hang up discussion. Conversation. Okay. Continue to host hangouts and discuss theological topics. If these guys choose to participate, fine. Not seek them out for conversation. Well, yeah, and I think that's fair. But I think they've precluded themselves already, right? They've not sought conversation. They've sought a point scoring session, and so it comes down to us playing pigeon chess with idiots. And I can't tell you how many people have messaged me over the last 2 years, dragging out these people aren't worth your time. Sabella, that clip was around 6 minutes 4 seconds of Dragnut says I'm a bum, something to that effect. It was when I called him a bum for just bullshitting. That's the video. He said that he had gotten enough donations for a week's worth of work. So yes, I called you a jobless bum too. So that's where it is. So. But I wanted to discuss. I find Tommy Hall fascinating and typical at the same time. Because what Tommy likes to do is he's the resident layman guru on science. But then even he kind of kowtows to Nephilim free, which is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. He's only recently started acknowledging that DNA isn't made up of amino acids. So little things like that where it kind of shows you that as much credit and charity you can give someone, you can't make up for their lack of knowledge and their inability. They're not even lack of knowledge. Their inability to be corrected on anything, or even I won't even go there. Just to have a response made that is not, oh yes, you are absolutely right. Everything I thought about this topic is absolutely fucking wrong. Like I have to keep going back and giving these dudes fucking handicaps, because that is the level of discourse that's happening here. But I gotta hand it to Skylar. I mean, he finds some interesting folks, some crazier than others, but he does tend to find them. And oh, by the way, folks, if you are a Patreon, I've already made a post on the website saying that the cost of the strife to people that I know is far too great, and so me not entertaining this idiot will give them some peace of mind, then I am more than willing to give that up. Unwillingness to be corrected. That's a good point, Bullinator. That's a really good point. Because some of them can be, but they're unwilling to, for one reason or another. Some of them feel that Dragnot's too arrogant to teach me anything. Well, that's fine. That's absolutely fine, and I know quite a few of them feel that way. But as interesting as these guys make me out to be, I can't figure out whether I'm a supervillain or this incompetent nincompoop who is just extremely lucky in life and somehow gets offers that they've never will never be able to get in their life. So it's kind of some weird mesh of those archetypes. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But let's say I love these characterizations because And again, for those of you who missed it, this is aptly timed because the Three Black Heathens show is tonight. We just did a test run with some new software using Zoom, and it's working fine. We're going to do one more test right before the show, and shit's going to get raw, folks. Raw. I will hone in on nonsense from certain CCP members on the periphery, like Tommy, but Tommy is not as you know, crazy as some of the other ones. I guess I was mentioning Tommy earlier, where he got an article from New Scientist, or the website New Scientist, and there was one author who was making some assertions about CRISPR technology and the efficacy of CRISPR technology. And I skimmed over the article, looked over what Tommy said, and went, yep, Tommy didn't read it. So, sky is blue again for another day, folks. And so I usually go, well, some of us go, Tommy, you're just a fucking idiot. Tommy, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so instead, I said, well, Tommy, what is your experience using this particular molecular technique? Very, very simple, right? Very simple. What's your experience using this? Because the efficacy of some of these things is based on what you're actually doing. I know that's right. If you're making a souffle, and how you go about making said souffle may differ depending on certain parameters, right? Not anything controversial. So I would love Tommy to regale us, and CRISPR, Rational Mind, feel free to weigh in on that, because I'm genuinely curious what Tommy's experience is working with this shit. So, that's that shit I don't like. Tommy has never stepped foot in a lab in his life, but his assertions will lead you to believe as though, because he's parroting, attempting to parrot an article that he's found on some pop science website, that he can then extrapolate that into something meaningful in a conversation. And it's like, it's a weird kind of mixture of, he wants to be like this Luddite, but also be like a health guru at the same time. And so it's a weird combination of him making this fallacy from nature, but then also asserting that he wants to utilize certain technologies and human medical interventions when it suits him. This can actually be shown very easily in a few conversations he's had with a few very knowledgeable members of the community, where they've asked him, well, Tommy, if you got cancer, what would you do? Well, push came to shove, yeah, I get the chemotherapy. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course you would. You're not that dumb. It's funny. It's funny. Some of you may not have known Mo the Pagan. Mo the Pagan was a woman. She's recently passed. Mo the Pagan, watching all of these discourses going on while she was receiving chemotherapy. I believe she had pancreatic cancer. I might be wrong about that. I have to go back and check Facebook. But she died specifically from the complications of the chemotherapy. Now, she was very intent on weighing in on these topics. None of us knew why. I had no idea that she was actually receiving treatment. Now, mind you, this woman knew the risks. She's seen Tommy stuff, but she chose, rather than just sit in a sweat box or listen to a nutritionist, she would rather listen to oncologists who gave her the best chance at life. You have to think about that for a second. She knew the risks. She's been well aware of these exchanges we've been having, but she would rather put her life in the hands of trained medical professionals than some weirdo from California who thinks that cancer is just a virus that you can take antibiotics for, or some bullshit like that. By the way, folks, that is absolutely wrong. Don't ever repeat that. People look at you funny. But people believe stuff like that. People will absolutely believe nonsense like that, and because they want simple solutions for complex answers. And when it comes to something as simple, oh, hey, what's going on, Scientist Mel? Yeah. By the way, folks, if y'all want some actual scientific information, interesting topics, Mrs. Drag is also a big fan of Scientist Mel, even though she doesn't do zoology, which is Mrs. Drag's area of interest. It's not mine, but please check out Scientist Mel. I am a Patreon of Scientist Mel, by the way. So some individual situations are absolutely right. There's more science on other people's YouTube channels than mine, because the type of science that I do is sometimes boring. CRISPR can probably attest to that as well. It's not always glamorous. Certainly, well, it's not as boring as Sam sitting in front of a computer, but it's not, mixing chemicals all the time. Sometimes it's reading and more reading and going back and looking at protocol and reading and going, oh, I forgot something. Let me go grab something over here for a second. So let me get this and looking here to check to see which I'm looking at something. I don't know whether it's human glioma or human lung carcinoma. Not too sure. Is it human cervical intraepithelial neoplasia? I don't know. So sometimes you need to do that. That's sometimes what science is. So and I don't expect people. Well, no, you can't simply do science in your kitchen or your bedroom. That's not how it works. That's so. But there are people who are able to kind of distill down enough of it to where people can understand. As to where does T get his science information from? A variety of sources would be the best answer. Actually, I have to read the biology book. Yeah, I know, Bully, right? I actually have to go and defer to books. It's crazy, right? Man. So, Ash, I'm trying to think of a nice summation. So, a while back, scientist Sam and I were trying to figure out where True was getting information from concerning the age of the Earth. Because what had happened was there was a hangout that he had with phony beetle maniacs, and then he was trying to school phony beetle maniacs on the age of the Earth and the composition of early Earth's crust. Now, he didn't actually go to any reputable website that feature journals, right? Because immediately if I'm searching for something, I just go to the fucking PubMed, ResearchGate, whatever, and actually look for peer-reviewed fucking material. I don't know. That's just me. So he doesn't do that. Okay. He found some GeoCities website and used that as the evidence in this conversation. Now here's how we found out. So we're talking, and it was some weird ass claim that he was using to berate phony beetle maniacs with, and it was just off the wall, just fucking absolutely fucking just stupid. And we said, okay, let's go back and look at the video. Maybe we can, because he screen shares the website, and I have no idea. Now, what's going on, Clockwork? Get some yard mowing? Yeah. Hey, have fun with that shit. I got Tommy Hall's employees out there do that shit for me. But so we went back and we looked at it, and we started just typing in search terms, and we found it. We actually found the websites. It was some weirdos websites. It looked like they created it with GeoCities. Y'all remember GeoCities back in the early 2000s? Yeah, Remember Angel Fire? Remember that shit? That's what it looked like. And so he went to this web for whatever reason. But the weird thing is he had to skip over, I think it was 2 government websites that featured information, about the topic, and it was 3 like actual like legit fucking sources, and one of them like was NIH or what have you. But he had to skip over all that to get to this fucking GeoCities website. And that right there told us that he's not interested in having what fucking Matt Bell would call a scholarly debate. Or actually, no, that was Jason Byrne. Jason Byrne said scholarly debate. Excuse me. I'm getting my individual situations confused. And it was the focal point for many hangouts and many topics, and you just kind of reminded me of that. But if we're not even talking the same language, then how are we talking? Like that's really what at the end of the day, that's what the issue is here. Because if we're not even on the same page, how are we communicating? That's why I find it odd that people try to come to me and they say, you know what? Well, I think X is the case. Well, okay. Well, let's look at your source. Let's see what's going on. You come at me with just speculation. I'll say, well, this speculation is based on your experience in this field. Well, no, I watched a YouTube video. Well, that's cute. Well, do you have is there somebody who is making this argument and you disagree with them? Well, no, I'm just an independent researcher. Well, good on you, buddy. Awesome. Any asshole can get on the internet and come to a conclusion. I don't give a shit. Everybody has an opinion about something. Don't mean it's an informed opinion. That's the thing. Just because you got one, just because you came to a conclusion, don't mean that it is actually a legit one. You can have it. You're entitled to that. No one says you're not entitled to it. But your internal justification for believing whatever it is the fuck you believe is not going to work as far as an external justification, right? Because I can say, you know what? Say, Dragnot, what's the best food out there? Y'all know what I'm going to fucking say, right? Y'all know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Cajun food. Well, I know, this is me introspective. I know that I'm biased. I grew up in Louisiana. Grew up around Cajun food. Already like predisposition to like that. So even if the question is incredibly subjective and there's no, real like measurable way to even figure out the answer to that, from the onset I know that it's something that, come on, just sit in here. I just want you to sit right there. Maybe if I just put it up here. Okay, cool. So I know there's no real, I would guess, objective way to go about. What's going on, fam? Man, hey, speaking of which, man, what we talked about on Facebook, I have not told anybody yet. I want that to be a surprise. I want people's eyes to kind of go, oh, I want people to be taken aback. So, and people don't know his. I refrain from saying his real name out of respect. So we're gonna save that offer that you agreed to a little bit later, and I'll let people know like next week. So, and by the way, yes, folks, I'm being vague on purpose because y'all are gonna love the person who just commented in the chat. He's a very special person that y'all gonna want to hear from, I think. So anyway, I love talking to open-minded brothers specifically. And if someone's upset by me saying open-minded brothers, then I don't know what to tell you. I just get over it. I don't care. I love talking to open-minded brothers because for far too long, and y'all gonna hear more about this later tonight. But why? Because I hate the negative racial stereotypes that plague people with my particular skin condition. Via curse of Ham. Because it's it bothers the shit out of me because I'm related to so many just worthless ass individuals, and it's so refreshing to hear people. One of the few black guys in the school that I go to, I see him all the time. He's always over near the physics area. He's a physics grad student going to school for astrophysics. Love it, man. He's a young Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love this shit. Me and him just sat and just talk and say, yeah, my little brother's into that. So, oh, you give my information. And so now he can possibly help mentor my little brother, going toward that direction. And that's what I love to hear. Like this ignorant shit. I cannot stand with a burning fucking passion people who are unwilling or unable to unhinge themselves because they're so beholden to their beliefs because they have created this image of themselves based on certain beliefs that they hold, which is fucking stupid. How are you claiming that you're a critical thinking, well-adjusted adult or any kind of version of that when you can't even reevaluate your own beliefs? That absolutely irks me. And that's why when I say that that's when I say that, yeah, I'm better than those guys. Yes, that's a reason why. That's one of the main reasons why. And they can be upset by that. I don't care. Because it's true. It's absolutely fucking true. If they don't want to see me self-aggrandize, then you know what? Get on my fucking level. I don't know what to tell you other than that. So that's why I like having having the ability to interact with a variety of people, because what I've learned over years of just living is that if Tommy Hall surrounds himself with people like Tommy Hall will continue to be Tommy Hall. Tommy Hall will never grow and develop as an individual situation. And he will continue to believe the same things that Tommy Hall has believed. Well, the difference with Dragnaut is that Dragnaut's been put in a number of situations that has challenged Dragnaut, whether it be just something as simple as living with people of a different race and different income bracket, or living in a completely different area that has no semblance of anything that you grew up with, that challenges your perceptions of how to live, challenges your perception on what the world is, challenges your perception on human interaction. Everything gets challenged at all times. There is no reprieve from being challenged. And so once you are put inside of this weird life sieve, what's going to come out is something that's well-rounded. You can think of it as a machine that creates bearings, and I believe this machine is just a gigantic fucking agitator, and it somehow shapes bearings to be the shape that they need to be by bombarding it. If I'm not, for those of you who are mechanics, please feel free to correct me, but I believe that's how certain bearings are made. And so that's how I kind of imagine life to be like in the most ideal situation. If you want to become the most well-rounded individual, you have to continue to challenge yourself and not put yourself in an echo chamber. And I know we overuse that term. Ain't that right, Alexa? Now you don't want to say nothing? Alexa, am I a bitch?
Definitely not.
Thank you. So it is incumbent upon people who want to claim that they understand how a person evolves and how a person develops, to understand that they're going to have to put themselves in a situation, or in many different situations that challenge their beliefs. Not simply say, well, you know what, I talked to this person for 5 minutes and they said that I was wrong about that, but I told them all. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about putting yourself in. Don't let Mr. Dragnaut know that I'm drinking. This is fucking awesome, by the way. I was wondering why she was getting these. These are awesome. Oh my God. Oh, that's so good. Wait, have any pancakes? The fuck? You got to be fucking shitting me, man. No pancakes? Guess we're making grits. So, the reason why this community has been able to, stand the test of time is because that there are people who are willing to be challenged, and that there is no real stagnation when it comes to discourse. But now it seems we've hit a choke point, almost a choke point where there aren't people willing to engage and challenge themselves. But that has to, we have to kind of question something. I think Brett's still asleep. We have to challenge something here. Were these people even really engaging? Were they? Argument can be made that I'm not really engaging people. The argument can be made. It can be made. Because I tend to, even though I don't really take people too seriously, because I don't take myself too seriously, the argument could be made that I don't, because I'm not being very charitable. Well, I think the fact that I do open myself up to criticism way more often than most people, and quite direct criticism, and I'll actually hear folks out. Now, whether or not I'll accept it or not is a different case, especially if I don't really understand where this person's coming from, or if I've not actually taken the time to really understand that they have a legitimate point. Because people are making cogent points, it depends. But what I'm not interested in doing is taking heed of complaints from people who are hypersensitive to every little thing. That's not what I'm interested in at all. And if people don't like the fact that I am uncharitable to people who have been routinely uncharitable to myself and others, who make no attempt to actually understand what people are saying, who have practiced the art of being intellectually dishonest over and over again, you've expended all of your chances. And no, I'm not going to continue to reset the fucking clock and clear the slate every time you click off the Hangout. That's not going to happen. Maybe that's just me saying fuck the bullshit, and the military me going, no more fuck games. It is. If you've not been a service member, you may not feel that way. That's fine. I understand that people have different experiences, but mine, it has led me to kind of a fuck the bullshit kind of thing. Because, mind you, no one here, not a single person, is obligated to give you a civil discourse. And I think that's forgotten. I think that, or maybe it's not been emphasized enough. Maybe it's not been emphasized because people are under the impression that because you appear before someone that you are obligated to, or they deserve to have a cordial, discourse that's just fucking, it's just intellectually stimulating. No, if that were the case, then there'd be 3 fucking hangouts happening about the same shit over and over again. That's it. That is it. But most of the stuff that happens here ends up being shit shows. Lately. It ends up just being shit shows. Well, Dragnet, why are they shit shows? Well, we don't really have too many people to engage with who are willing to have their ideas challenged. In the sense that we have different goals. We have different goals. If I say, you know what? I like to come and learn and laugh, and I'd like to engage in conversations and occasionally learn something from them. Why not? But mostly just to have the conversations to see where they go. That's different from the person who goes, I hate my life. My life is absolute shit. And I want to die so I can meet my deity in whatever realm that exists outside of this. Completely fucking different. Absolutely different goals. It is getting hot, and I'm about to take off my shirt in a second. Let me find my fan. So it's going to be hard to have a conversation with someone, who thinks like that, right? How do you have a discourse with someone who doesn't value the life that they're living right now to that effect, right? They've just given up because whatever has happened in their life, and whatever kind of scenario that has made them into the perpetual victim that they are, and they've just given up. So they would rather rely on whatever they believe is going to be the case, so they can reap some reward, because evolutionists can't bring it. Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting because I don't identify with people like that. I don't identify with people who have given up. I don't like identifying with anyone who's a quitter. And I find people who have just simply given up on society and given up on life to be quitters. That's not something that's very appealing. And to me, it makes me wonder, why would you even want to engage with other people if you've given up on life? If this world and this life is something that you don't like, and everyone's trash and all this, that, and the other, and all you do is antagonize and just hold all this acrimony against everyone, then why even engage? Like, it really begs the question: do you just want to spread your misery? Because not everyone's life is as miserable as yours. Or are you trying to live vicariously through others, by through their tales, through what they tell you? So, yeah, Keon, that's going to be talked about tonight. That's one of our topics, by the way, with Jeff Sessions and his religious liberty bullshit. So, that's going to be, I think. I can't remember if MP is talking about that or Emperor. I can't, because I forgot what we decided. But anyway, each of us has a topic, and that's actually one of the topics. My topic is top science related. Just to kind of throw a little bit of here's something interesting. It's not going to be a journal club because it's not a journal club. That's why. Emperor's he's never hit, like, none of us hide our names. We're all out there. Emperor's on Facebook under his real name. I mean, if you ask him, he'll tell you his real name. His name is kind of epic too, by the way. I wish, part of me wishes that was my name. Part of me. But you can't beat Alfred. I don't need that big ass pot. I really don't. But what was I saying? Yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to know the lineup tonight, just go to the Three Black Heathens Facebook page, or you can go to the YouTube page, and there's the hangout is already made, and you can see what the program format is in the description. And yes, there were people asking. There were people asking if the CCP are going to be joining as guests. No, not at all. They are all precluded from this, especially when we start getting guests on, which I've already verified about 3 or 4 guests, and that's later. That's way later. The CCP are banned. They're not welcome. Because we're going to talk about idiocy, but we don't want to surround ourselves with idiocy. So they can stay in their fucking corners where they belong. So if you're just tuning in, I tried to find the image of the screenshot. I have blocked G-Man's channels or unsub whatever. Can't block channels. I have unsub from all G-Man shit. Time to move the fuck on. Y'all can do what you want, but if we do want to get things back to just having conversations, we can have folks that are a little bit antagonistic, but not idiots, and Veckel included, and empiricism. They don't need to be a part of this conversation ever. Again, I'm telling you my personal feeling. I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm not. This is not an edict from the Dragon Lord. I personally think Veckel, True Empiricism, and G-Man don't ever need to be part of any conversation. Point blank period. Only referenced as a, don't be this guy, but other than that, no. Let them sit in their fucking corner on the outskirts with Kovacs and the other jackasses. Because I think that's where they need to be. And this is loose. This is loose. I'm pretty sure Tommy's going to want to talk about some more science. I love talking to Tommy about science. I love when Tommy takes about a week to read something, and what am I saying? He doesn't take a week to read anything, but he need a flathead, or I think a T4, T5. What you call them for this? This is good enough. Yeah, that's good. That's the Lowe's and Home Depot skills right there. But I'm pretty sure Tommy will want to have a little science chat. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Evidently, my phone bill was just, or internet bill was just paid. Okay. Could have sworn I processed that days ago, but whatever. But yeah, pretty sure Tommy's gonna want to talk some science, but because I've asked, I was like, well, Tommy, because I think Tommy has a genuine interest in science. I think that he's fascinated and he's in awe about the wonderful world that God created and all that bullshit. So my question is, with all this time, all these Mexicans doing the job for you and doing the heavy lifting, why don't you just take a community college class? Take Bio 101. You know? I don't think that he can. I think there's something, and I don't think it's a money issue. I don't think it's a time issue. Because I think if he really wanted to, he'd make the time. I think he really would make the time. I don't put that past him. I think that it's, and this is me just being honest. I think Tommy has had some really terrible experience in school growing up. I mean, it's Texas, and so that's kind of put him off to education in a formal setting. I don't think that he's one of these people who thinks that he's an autodidact, because I think that he'll joke about that, but I don't think he really legitimately believes that. But I think that Tommy has been put off, and I'm willing to give Tommy like this much understanding and empathy, and really not anymore because of some certain admissions that he's made about fucking with people that he finds acceptable. Interestingly enough, while proclaiming that he's a good guy, he thinks that emotionally manipulating people is an acceptable practice, paraphrasing, and that he gets a bit of joy out of it, which would indicate to me that this sounds like sadism. Which, if you're going to say sadism, just say I'm a bit of a sadist, and that if you're going to be sadistic, then kind of empathy towards you is kind of and that applies to me too, by the way. And I realize the irony there. But I do think that that's probably what it is. I don't think there's anything really, anything really stopping him other than a mental block. But if he, I think if he really wanted to, he could probably pass Bio 101, 102. I think it would be interesting to see Tommy do the lab portions. Really, that's what I'd be fascinated just to be a TA and just to watch, just to see what he would do. And if they got the evolution part, and well, I read this guy's blog. I got a piece of paper right here. I have this bookmark on my phone. This guy named Behe is awesome. I read a part of a book that he wrote that I definitely don't really understand, but you know what? It aligns with what I think this Lamarckism. Yeah, I like that. That sounds cool. Let's do that. Can we Lamarckism? Can we do that? Can we Lamarck in the book? Where do we Lamarckism in the book? How do we? What page is that? Because I don't think Tommy's an absolute idiot. I just think he's fucking lazy. Like I just absolutely, like emphatically, I think that he's absolutely fucking lazy. For a number of reasons, but I think that it's just pure laziness on his part, intellectually and physically, when it comes to tackling any topic, because maybe it's how he was raised. Maybe it's just, kind of the Southern boy. Oh, my daddy taught me this, and so I knows it too, So he's trying to fill that role of the good old Southern gentleman, and that's what he wants to stick to. That's what he identifies with, and so he's gonna do it. Ain't nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I mean, if you're gonna fulfill that role, then go all the way. Don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it. Idiot, rude, condescending. Yeah, that's what gets me about Tommy, is that he likes to try and condescend to people, which is crazy to me because he tries to condescend to me. Of all people, he tries it with me, and I was like, Tommy, I'm just gonna hurt your feelings, man. Just stop it. Like I feel like a part of me actually feels bad, when I push his shit in, well, against his will, push his shit in, because he gets his feelings hurt so easily. It's like, well, Tommy, why would you think that if you want to start that condescending shit, you make these little? But I think a part of it is that he's just kind of like, he does it as a reflex, and I don't think that it's necessarily intentional, because I've caught him doing this, and when I say I caught him, it's just a natural reflex. I think that just kind of impulsively, like he'll just make a sarcastic remark, a condescending remark, because he doesn't like where the conversation's going, and it's like his way of just saying fuck you, right? It's just because people say it instinctively. So I think his reflex is just to do that, and I think it's completely natural for him to do that, because that's just the way he interacts with people. And I'm not even shitting on him for that. That's just how he processes things. That's just Tommy's quirk, right? But I've caught him a few times when he's done it to me. He knows that I'm going to go in on him. Like he knows that. Oh, that's PvP stuff. Okay. When he does it to me, he knows that my retort, I'm gonna come for his neck, instantly. I mean, instantly, I'm gonna come for his neck, and he's just kind of, because and so I'm sorry, I should have said that, because I think one of the last conversations that we had, he had kind of made a remark like that, and I just went in on him. I was like, look here, hillbilly. Let me tell you something about doing hard work and about learning shit, right? Let me look at my life real quick, So, and we had to dial it back. We had to dial it back, because at least in that one instance, and I can't remember what the comment was or what the topic was, but I think in that instance, I don't think Tommy really meant for it to go that way, and I could kind of tell, because I do pay attention to his like, Tommy has some really, really obvious tells. Like I've even told him, it's like, Tommy, man, if you're feeling nervous, keep your camera off, man. Keep your camera off, because you like, Tommy has this thing. Let me show you what he does. It's actually pretty funny. And believe it or not, the reason I don't really shit on Tommy like that is because I think he's just a product of his environment. I don't think that there's much other to him other than him just being a product of what he's been around all his life. I don't think he's really been outside of Texas very much, so that's just kind of like, as I rationalize that with, I can't expect much from people who ain't been nowhere. So So Tommy has this habit. He has a highlighter on his desk usually, and I think it's the same highlighter he uses to. And I meant to pull something out of here, and I forgot. Oh, scissors. I was using a knife. Tommy has a highlighter, and so he'll kind of play with it at the beginning. When Tommy starts getting nervous, you'll see that highlighter eventually make its way to his mouth, and then he'll start kind of now. Take from that what you want, but it's a nervous habit, and I've seen people do this with pens, but Tommy takes a highlighter and he does it, and that's what makes it obvious, because everyone's known that person in the office, and they'll take a pen and they'll fucking chew on the cap to a pen. That's disgusting. Everyone's seen someone do that, but Tommy does it with a highlighter, and that's what. But it's a yellow, vibrantly colored highlighter. And so I'm seeing this highlighter, like in and around here, and it's traveling, and it's here, it's down here, and it's moving, and it makes its way up here, and it's just, then he'll switch hands, and it's over here now, and I'm like, that's a nervous habit that he has. First thing I pick up on. The other thing that it's hilarious. It's really hilarious, and I've told Tommy about this. I said, Tommy, when you get nervous, I know that, hold on, if his... So his left knee, I believe, because I'm trying to like reverse myself to where he's sitting from where I am. I believe it's his left knee that goes nuts when he's nervous. Now people they're sitting in a chair and their foot's going like this. So it shakes the top right corner of his chair. And so all I see is that chair going back and forth. I'm like, it wasn't doing it earlier, but we're half an hour, 45 minutes into a conversation, and I could be watching him talking to CRISPR about something, and CRISPR go, well, hold on, Tommy. When you hear CRISPR go, well, hold on, and then he says a person's name, that's CRISPR's like really like passive aggressive way of saying, I'm about to go in on this dude. And yes, CRISPR, I've been watching you too. So when CRISPR says something like that, we say, well, hold on, C-Brad. Well, hold on, Tommy. That's when he's kind of coming in for the kill. To give you an example, Sock Account has a what I call the Sock Account ambush, where he comes out of nowhere and he asks a very innocuous question. If you ever in a conversation with him and he does that, ambush is coming. I'm giving away everybody's secrets today. So I even have names for them. That's how much I watch them. So I watched Tommy have a conversation with like CRISPR, and man, that chair go nuts, absolutely nuts. And I could check, and at a certain point, he'll even like just like swing, like just swing back and forth or whatever, or swivel, I should say, not swing. And it is absolutely fascinating because it aligns with the same time that he tends to kind of stray off into conversations, and then he'll try and change the subject. He'll try and change. No, I don't psychoanalyze everyone. I try not to psychoanalyze people as so much as just pick up on tells, because I don't like when people are being deceptive. And so I pick up when people are nervous, because if you're nervous and you're talking to me, well, why are you nervous? Right? Then that makes me wonder. So I just pick up on people's tells. That's it. I can't really say what they are, because I'm not inside that person's head, but I can tell you that I can correlate these two things. Now, is there a causal link between them? No clue. I don't have the evidence or the expertise to even begin to draw that. Let me add a caveat to what I'm saying. It's just the things that I picked up on help me navigate a lot of these conversations, because I can tell when Tommy feels nervous about a topic and he doesn't really know a lot about it. Well, I can just let him, just for arguendo, I can let him go and say whatever he wants. But if I just kind of start to, well, Tommy, what do you mean by that? And he starts to give me one of these nervous tells, well, I know that he doesn't know anything about it, more than likely. A perfect example is he has no idea what cytokines are, right? Now, it's nothing major, but if the crux of his argument is, well, this causes cancer and this activates this in the body, well, you're telling me that there's a certain mechanism within an organism to actually, cause the spawning of a fucking neoplasm of some sort, whatever. that means you might have to explain, you know, the molecular fucking basis of what the fuck you're talking about here. Yo hablo un poquito español. ¿De dónde eres? That's all. Yo necesito más práctica español. That's about the extent of my fucking Spanish. But other than that, ¿qué pasó? Yeah, Cheeto. Okay. Your French sucks. My French does suck. My French does suck. I've spoken my Cajun French around around the Canadians. Oh my god. Ozzy laughed at me, by the way. Yeah, I know I need to practice my Spanish. Yeah. I also need to practice my Hindi. I'm gonna put some bacon on. Hold on. So, I think a fair question, though, with me saying all this is, well, Drag, are you really here having conversation with folks, or are you just here, you know, like this fucking like psychoanalyzing people and just fucking folks? I think that's a fair question. So, answer is, I don't know anymore. Honestly, because there's very little I haven't heard, because and someone gave a rough estimate of how long I've been on here. I've been here actually 6 years, believe it or not. Actively having conversations 5, but I've actually been on this platform for about 6 years, and there's really little I have not heard, and very few and far between genuinely awesome fucking conversations that have been had. And so once you see the same kind of people kind of come in and trot out the same nonsense over and over again, it gets old. You know. No, I'm not taking any you know, criticism personally. I don't you know, if people do offer actual criticism of me, and I think that you know, it's if I'm going to sit here and shit on anybody, then I have to be open to criticism, but not just, you know, okay, well, I get it when I get it, you know, and I'll just take it, you know, as it comes. I have to be proactive. And I think that many people don't want to be proactive and take what? I just put the bacon on. Oh, no, it's facing me. Turn the fan. I'll turn on. I'm cooking in here. You go in the back. You go back there and play your ukulele. I'm cooking now. Unless you want to cook, and I'll go somewhere. That's what I thought. It's my house. I pay the rent here, even though you go to work and I don't. So, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to be proactive in assessing oneself, because trust me, I get plenty of criticism from somebody near me. Lots of criticism every day from somebody. But then I do get criticized by some of the old heads and some of the folks who were here before me and who helped, you know. I didn't get as popular as I am now. And so I do take their criticisms seriously. But I also do, it just like, even though people kind of like, oh, well, who cares what random troll has to say, I will actually take it seriously. And then kind of entertain it just to see, okay, well, maybe this person does have a point, and I'll take it and I'll bring it to somebody else and say, dude, you gotta stop, and take it and say, well, is this fair? You know, is this actually fair? You know, is this a fair assessment? And then and based on the responses that I get, okay, so well, then maybe I need to bring that up, maybe I need to talk about it. But I don't think that, well, if you're not a Patreon, you can't criticize me. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. But But people who just kind of like stay on the periphery, they don't want to interact with me, and they see what they want to see, they can sit on this and rotate. And because don't sit and pretend to know me because you vicariously learned about me through other people, or you may have saw a few interactions with me where I was just ran out of fucking patience, right? Because I can't I don't, even after I turn this shit off, people are messaging me. You know, I'm out with my wife, people are fucking messaging me. Right? Y'all actually don't know. There's a few people who have my phone number that I routinely talk to, you know, and Sam is one of them, and somebody else in the chat's another, and I have no problem picking up the phone at odd hours for them. But besides that, you know, and like in Pia, obviously, but besides that, you know, I try to, like, you know, curb my involvement because it does take up a lot of my fucking time. And so I'm constantly being engaged in this stuff all the fucking time. Y'all would imagine how much interaction, how many different people. And I'm not saying that, you know, that people should necessarily just, you know, feel bad for contacting me, you know, at any given time, because you don't know how many times someone gets in contact. It's not your fault. But being upset that, you know, I might be short with someone. Well, I've just been engaged in shit, and I've been putting out fires behind closed doors for hours, you know, for other folks. And again, not saying that, you know, I mean, it is a job that I get thanked for, but that's stuff that people don't see. They see what the fuck they want to see. You know, they don't know what the fuck's going on with this. It's not, and mind you, it's not the stupid, you know, he who won't be named bullshit. It's stuff that's related to other stuff that y'all don't know about. Y'all need to know about. Okay. So, I really don't care at the end of the day with people just offering, you know, opinions that aren't actually based on, you know, what I'm actually doing, what I'm actually saying, and what my actual, and this is what killed me. When people say they know my intent, I'm a fairly transparent fucking person. Fairly transparent. I'll tell you outright. Don't make up intentions for me. Ooh, bacon. Yeah, bacon. Look at that bacon. Okay. How many German speakers we got in here? They can't see you. I got to point it up here. How about you stop watching my stream? You go do something constructive with your life. How about that? How about that? You can talk shit from over that counter all you want. Don't get beat on camera. I will handle my business on camera. I will handle business on camera. That's what I thought. Shit. No, that was not a threat. I was laughing. Ha 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 ha. So, but yeah, I can be sneaky. I can be sneaky. I can agree to that. I can agree to that. But it's like I like when I get a kick out of when like certain CCP members try to psychoanalyze me. That Tommy had made a video. Tommy had made a video towards me, and I'm trying to remember, I have to go look for it. He wasn't trying to necessarily imitate me, but he was trying to like do like tough guy talk. You know, Drag thinks he's so smart and stuff like this. And then he was trying to actually like psychoanalyze me, and it like when people do that to me, I get a kick out of that. I'm not even gonna lie, I get a real big kick because I'm curious to see if it's accurate. Like that's really it, because I can acknowledge you know, my flaws. I have no problem doing that, but to see what other people perceive is fascinating to me, because I think that that one of the reasons like I'm not a big fan of lying to people is because my face gives it away. You know, I can say, oh yeah, I enjoy this, but my face doesn't say I'm enjoying this. I can't change my face and force my face to fake that. So it's called Botox. Oh, thank you. Yes, you learned that from Real Housewives. Is that what they teach you? So I can't actually do that. So it's not in my best interest to lie to people. So that's and plus being truthful is much better anyway, in my opinion. This is my subjective, arbitrary, subjective opinion. Arbitrary, subjective. But I like what Sock Account's, doing. He's opening up a venue for people to discuss things, and it's been pretty good so far. Slowly growing. If you've not subscribed to Sock Account, then you should. Part of me wishes Deep in the Dogma would come back, but Hogan wanted your D today. Oh, did he? Did y'all notice that Spoken's on that block of Zulu? Yeah! Got his ass. So, now, I usually don't block people, but as one good troll knows, ignoring a troll is the best thing that you can do, and that because they yearn for attention. The way, and I can tell you as someone who's been trolling since the internet's been around, if you ignore a troll, that's the most frustrating thing that you can do to them. Not engage them. So that's why some of G-Man's brothers and sisters and Christ or whatever they fucking call themselves now, I've been telling you should probably ignore Dragnout. That's really good advice. He's not gonna listen. So, what do you think of the new Deep in the Dogma? I like Floyd, but I gotta take him in meter doses. I fucking love you, Floyd. But ever since the military and other folks can tell you, we have this aversion to PowerPoint. I have to actively talk to my instructor to stay the fuck awake because PowerPoints kill me. But he has absolutely good information. I will always tell folks, please go listen to Floyd. He knows the fuck he's talking about. If you don't understand, Floyd will take his fucking time and explain it to you in another way. Right? Very patient ass dude. So, it might be a bit tedious, but you know what? It ain't no worse than Ozzy. Ozzy knows he's long-winded. We still love him. So, please do. Woo, shit. Now, I love Deep in the Dogma. If you ignore a troll, they will stop. If you ignore an asshole, they will lash out even more. Yeah. Well, there's a fail-safe here, CRISPR, and that is if the idiot or if the asshole in this case that continues, he knows there's a group of people he knows nothing about that will fuck him up. So that's the new thing. Because his brothers and sisters in Christ can tell him not to engage me, but none of them know who any of the Garys are. So you can't attack something that you can't identify. And so now their only recourse is to try and coerce me into giving up some of the Garys, which there's like fucking 16 of them. I know maybe 2 or 3. Maybe. So, I ain't got shit to give up. And even if I fucking did, what makes you think I'm gonna tell you? So, if G-Man has a problem, if his gangster fucking boss wants to handle business, then he'll employ some gangster ass fucking measures and find out his fucking stuff. Because I ain't calling his job. But I think he realized, y'all, there's about fucking 16 of them, by the way. Last I heard. So, he thinks that, and I thought that was common knowledge, but I guess not. I'm not a fucking Gary. I'm just, if anyone's played Destiny, I'm the speaker. I should have put the name of Jesus in this title. But I'll do that later. But I mean that's his big issue, because I can say all day long, you know what? It's bad. The idiot left a comment on the video exposed as a liar. Now he's challenging me for another debate. Okay. Oh yes. Let me actually read that comment now. Thank you for reminding me, Rez. Where's my iPad? Thank you, Reg, for reminding me. While I cook the bacon, let me check if on the bacon. I found my iPad. Come on, iPad, to feel me now. What the hell is this shit? Satisfying soap crunch. What the hell? What's been playing? Oh. What is... What the fuck is it watching? Yes, the guy who speaks like Batman, yes. Who was that boring-ass dude that was in Skylar's Hangout the other night? I thought there was a particular fairly large woman that could kill erections, but no. No, that's this guy could kill an erection. Why was I watching deep sea kayaking? Deep in the dog. Come on. One day I have to show y'all my my watch, like my recently watched list. Someone asked to see it because I think that I had shown it. I'm like, what the fuck have you been watching? I was like, you don't want to know. Whatever, you don't want to know. Check on the bacon. Okay, I have it. Yeah, Neil Clout used to get people in Hangouts to dox them. Okay, so Redline pinned this post from the idiot 3 hours ago. Thanks, Redline. Oh god, this is one long fucking... Yeah, god damn it. If his buddies in Christ want to help him, they should take him to fucking Sylvan Learning Center. Thanks, Redline. With your help, the Flat Earth community will all know how to find me. So much for ignoring me. By the way, your room of liars have already been proven refuted. Again, lastly, I did challenge you to a debate. Now that you're Y-O-U-R officially part of the cult of Dragnot, stop running and face me like a man. It's amazing how emasculated a person can be and then display it for the internet. He's literally, here's my penis, please accept it as a gift. Isn't that it? Is the proverbial fucking olive branch. Topic: Big Bang. Did it really happen? Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Also, the moon landing was a hoax! Exclamation mark! I can prove it! Exclamation mark! If you agree to the debate, we'd be on GTV. It be made very clear. Hashtag boycott Dragon still in effect and his worshippers. That means you. So I still don't understand boycotting people that's associated with me and then challenging them to. I don't think he understands how. Yeah, Senpai noticed me. That's really what it was. It's so sad. And so when you go, block a Zulu, bitch. Nope. Because y'all see what happens when they sit and hang out by themselves. Not a goddamn thing. They can only sit there and suck off G-Man for so long. Only for so long. Blue, man, you might want to calm down. Just saying, if you got beef, then you better handle that shit somewhere else. I'm pretty sure last time I checked, he got a wrench. Anyway, I don't get, like, it's amazing. So Reds has a legit fucking weird ass cult after him, which if you know anything about Lord Stephen Christ, then you know that. And so he's protecting himself, and so you're upset because he's emasculated you in one way or another, and so because he ignored you for for 2 years, you decided that you want to unveil his identity, exposing him to said cult because you're a child and you're fucking upset. And then after you've potentially endangered him, he's going to agree to a debate with you? Has the Mandela effect kick in? Like, it's like, why? You're going to jail. No, you fucking retard, no. Jade, bless her heart. I am so glad Jade is not here for this, and I feel bad saying that, but that's, if there's a bit of solace that I have now, is that Jade is not here to see this stupid shit. I am happy that Jade is no longer in pain, no longer suffering, because she did have medical issues. No, we didn't make this public, but she did have medical issues, and so I am happy that she is no longer suffering. And that is how, ladies and gentlemen, I find solace in death. You know, now that she has passed, and as well as Mo the Pagan, because she was suffering. So it is the one bit of happiness I have from that. You know. Speaking of which, yes, we are still on. We're still on the meetup. We're going to have some fun. Cap Massimo is going to be there. JD Kane swears his wife is going to drink us underneath the table. We're going to see about that. You know, Mrs. Kane. We'll see. We're going to see. I've been training my liver. I'm going to see if I can outdrink JD's wife. It's going to be fun. I hear she's part Irish. And I learned my lesson the first time with a fucking ginger that was in my company. I learned my lesson. I was not familiar with the powers of the super liver. It's a secret ability they all have. I learned very quickly. But they have some weird ability. Oh, I do have an announcement. I've got a job offer. I'm going to be working with CRISPR, and we're going to be working on penis enhancements, penis regeneration technology and enhancement technology. There's a huge need for men to have a bit bigger penis. Now, there are currently no tutorial classes on how to use said penis, so that may come in the future, but you know, one thing at a time. You know, one thing at a time. How long have you been a bald transgender woman? About as long as you've been a shitty troll. That's not even like is that okay? At least come up with something funny. You know, I'm about to have Mrs. D make this. About to have her make these grits. I've been a woman all my life. Or would I be a trans man? I think I'd be a trans man. I think I'd be a trans man. I don't think that it's, well, it might be. Let me see. There's a certain, I will actually, no, let me not say that. Let me not say that. There's a way to actually make your penis larger. No. Sorry, no. That's not an actual thing yet. So the tissue that the penis uses to enlarge itself is actually a sponge, believe it or not. Let me see if I can describe it. So there's not a you can't actually, because what I was talking about was like regenerative bucket, like stem cell technology to create more of this sponge. Yeah, there's extensions, but I should have specified that. And thank you, RC, for pointing that out. So if I can try and okay, so inside your dicks, if I can make this, is a tissue that looks like this, and what happens is that blood fills it, okay, and that's what causes the expansion of the penis, right? So that's why if you have a heart condition or an issue with perfusion, you have trouble getting your dick hard, because blood needs to fill the sponge and expands. Accessory. If you cut that ligament, isn't that won't that give you a little less control, or is that or I guess I guess how you would define control. I don't know. Actually, we were talking about this. The guys being able to pull a groin muscle, and then you can make the dick flop. Is it that muscle, or that ligament rather, not muscle? So now I'm actually curious about that, but I'm not sure, like, using stem cell technology, how you would actually go about doing that. About like creating more of the actual sponge itself. So I would imagine the bigger the sponge, the longer the ligament would have to be. Well, the actual ligaments, not the accessory one he was talking about, but the supporting ligaments, and then because the epithelial tissue around the penis itself is just going to expand like it normally does, like any other epithelial tissue. But I would imagine that there would be an issue about how far that ligament would be able to stretch, even if you were somehow managed to create more of that sponge material. And I don't know what the name of that actual it's the suspensory ligament. Okay, because if it's the one I'm thinking about, is it the one in your fucking inguinal area, down in your fucking groin, that where you pull it, where if you pull it, it comes up. I don't know the name of this thing, but I can feel it on myself now, and I know if I'm pulling something down there in my fucking inguinal area, that I can make it pop up like that. Is it that one? Because I like having that ability, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to sacrifice that for. Well, actually, you know what? 1 or 2 inches. You could probably. You know what? I could hit the cervix pretty easily with 1 or 2 more inches. So I don't know if I'd sacrifice that. But then again, hitting the cervix, is that really a good thing? Is that really a nice thing to do? It's pretty mean, but if you've never hit the cervix, gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Show on camera. Maybe one day. For all the people who are trying to find information on me, if you can find the Dragnot sex tape or the fat video, then you've done some digging. 1 to 2 inches would be quadruple the length. So 6 inches is your target. Yeah, it's. But when I say with the length of the vagina itself is 6 inches, if you're hitting the cervix, it's more. Well, then again, that's average too. Not all channels in the vagina is actually not actually 6 inches, but more than, for average 6 inches, you would be hitting the cervix, and there is a stop gap in there. We'll say that. I think it's a mucus plug of some sort, but if you actually hit that, if you actually like bump into it, it can actually send it can send a response that makes a woman feel like they're having contractions, and it's actually quite painful. You can ask me how I know, but I'm pretty sure you can figure out how I know that. But it is painful for a woman if you actually do hit their cervix. Like, I'm talking about, like, are pounding that thing, because you're not supposed to be hitting it. So, you know. Yeah, I believe it's a mucus plug that plugs it. Like it's already tight, but I want to say if there's not a until a fucking neonate is ready to pass through it, then it's going to dilate to a certain diameter, and then that plug is not going to be there anymore. So there's a picture of the ligament. I can't click on it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let me see. Human anatomy is very interesting, which I'm going to have to go back to human anatomy and physiology and take it. But I took some while I was in the army, but I'm going to have to take it, like legit take it, here probably next semester. Probably in the spring. I'll take it. So it'd be nice if we had someone in the community who knew a lot about anatomy and physiology, right? So yeah, I know a few guys who can and who brag about being able to hit the cervix, but while it is a feat that not many men can do, I would not suggest, if you are staying with this woman for any extended period of time, I would probably not suggest doing that on purpose, because it is very painful for a woman. You can brag to your friends, yes, I can hit the cervix, but it is not it's not a very pleasant experience for the woman at all. There's a few sadists, or excuse me, there's a few masochists out there who enjoy that, but not very many. So you don't say you didn't learn something. Okay, I'm trying to, and this is the suspensory ligament. Ductus deferens, the accessory ducts. Yep, suspensory ligament anchors it laterally to the pelvic wall. I clicked on that link, by the way, and I'm looking at it. If you're a woman and if you've never had anyone hit your cervix, all it takes is one time, and you just one time experience. That's all you need. Okay, no, this is not the. I think this is the thing that I'm thinking about. Now we're getting into tilted uterus. Oh. We're having this conversation about anatomy, specifically penises, and hogtie's not here. Connects the pubic symphysis to the cavernous spongiosum. I'm going to pretend like I know where that is. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to translate this. If I tug on my nether regions, my dick pops up like this. Is it that one? Because I'm tugging and it's tugging. But I think it is that one, because I could feel, because in the illustration at least, it's right below, I believe, the pubic bone, and so it attaches like down the bottom of there, and then it pulls it up. And so because I can feel when I'm pulling it, I can feel right below my pubic bone it pulling up. So I'm thinking that it is that one. So without, I think you essentially lose the ability to pull on that because the ligaments will detach, but then you gain the length that particular ligament had, that, since it's not taut anymore. So mechanically in my head it makes sense. It makes sense. But I think, yeah, you would sacrifice being able to use that. Isn't the cervix the sugar walls? No, my friend. No, my friend. So, and see, this is why we need to have conversations, because a lot of people get things confused, because the female's anatomy is a very fascinating thing. So, but most of us guys need to stay in, right? The vaginal walls right past the labia. Just stay in there in that zone, because as soon as you get the actual neonate is going to pass through the cervix, that up there, up in the shit that looks like a shark's brain or Baphomet head, or sheep skull, with the ovaries and shit like that. You have the ovaries up here, and then it comes down. It comes down to the cervix. Inside of that cervix is where you have the endometrium in there, and for a woman's monthly cycle, the cells inside of this endometrium start shedding, right? And so that's what ends up happening to kind of flush everything out of there and recycle, or refresh a new set of eggs, right? Because they'll start descending from the ovaries. And so this is actually an evolutionary trait that only a few mammals actually have. I think bats, certain primates, and there's some other, I think mice. Mice menstruate. And so that all happens in the cervix. And now that comes out, out of the cervix and through the vagina. But where we guys need to stay to do our business is, like I said, right past the labia. There's that cavernous area in between the labia and the cervix. That's our sweet spot right there. That's where we need to stay. We don't need to be all up in the cervix. That's a no-no. You will literally fuck a woman up going past that. I'm telling you right now, you don't need to do it. Okay? There's a name for that area in between, and I'm trying to do this straight from memory. And let me actually make sure that. Let me make sure I got my terminology right. Yeah, I think I fucked something up. Hold on. Because I actually have it right here. Okay. Yes. Uterus. Okay. Yes, uterus. So, the cervix would be the area. Okay, so yeah, here. So let me, because I'm being imprecise. Right here, like this section here is the cervix. This is where I'm telling you to stay out of. Right there. All right. Up here is all the uterus connected to the ovaries up here. The ovaries up here, and this is where the eggs will descend, and then this is the inside of here is where the endometrial lining is, and so all this endometrium right here will shed for the menses. Okay, but this area here is where I'm trying to tell folks that here we go. Stay the fuck away from here. All right, this the fun zone, not the fun zone. Fun zone, not the fun zone. Okay. Just so we're clear. And there's a name for that. Okay. They just label it the vagina, but there's a. Where is the other name? Oh no, okay, they just call that the vagina. Okay. Wow. So we call it the fun zone. Don't go into the cervix. Don't, even if you can poke it. Some women like it being poked, but that's about it. I wouldn't even suggest doing that, because there's some weird fucking trigger in there. There's a fucking kill switch that will cause extreme pain, and it feels like contractions. And there's a name for whatever this is that's happening, because I looked it up a while back. And yeah, that's. So if you didn't learn anything, folks, there we go. But some dudes can't even reach there to begin with, so. I did read a story where one woman on Instagram was telling a story that she was messing around with some frat guys, and this dude caused her to have a prolapse of some sort. And I'm trying to remember how it was described, but she said my vagina almost fell out. I think that's how she phrased it, as my vagina fell out from fucking with one of these Qs. And the Q is the fraternity of the name of the frat guys that she was messing with. And she said her vagina fell out, and it caused, like, they had sex vigorous enough to cause a prolapse. And I'm just like, how does that happen? Like, how, like, for one thing, he had to fucking have a goddamn member the size of my goddamn arm, but to cause because I've seen a prolapse rectum. Like, I've actually seen that happen, and there's a few videos of a few guys doing way more fucking weight than he should squatting, and you see it is such force that it rips through his fucking leotard, and you can see the prolapse. So yeah, it's like, fuck that, you're not gonna talk about prolapse anything here, buddy. So yeah, she says my vagina fell out, and I was like, I had to actually go and look that up, and I'm just like, what do you, like, mechanically, what the fuck do you have to do to cause that? Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just like, gee, like, did you just, like, wow, jeez, like, what do you have to do? Like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall and been in the, like, a part of me wanted to say, let me be in the emergency room and watch that, but at the same time, man, because I know, I've only known a few, I know my aunt that passed away a few years ago, she had to have there's a name of when this happens during childbirth, and RC probably knows what I'm talking about. When the child's head is large or the shoulders are too wide, it causes a tear in the perineum, and so you're pretty much, and this is the way my mother described it, split from hole to hole. Is the way my mother described it. And so immediately I'm like, okay, it sounds like her perineum was also ripped open through the process of having a natural childbirth. And I'm just like, that's where my cousin gets his nickname from, Jadome. My cousin's name is Jerome, and we tell him he has a big head, a big dome, so we call him Jadome. I didn't know where that name came from. It's actually a reference to him causing a perineum fucking tear, whatever the fuck it's called. Episiotomy? I guess. That might be it. Perineum, yeah. That's what I said, perineum. Yeah, perineum. Yeah, it was her first child, and she, and that happened, so I think she had the next two through C-section, which I don't blame her. That's when OBGYN makes a tear. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not, so I'd have to ask, I would have to ask if she, because it was my understanding that she pushed and it tore. Like, that was my understanding, but perineum. Oh, it might just be the way I'm pronouncing it. I thought that's what I was saying. Perineum. Or perineum. Okay. Oh, thank you. Perineum? You know, I've been saying perineum to physician assistants, perineum. Oh, I'm thinking I got it way wrong. Perineum. Okay, you say it with a soft A. Perineum. So, I've been saying that around physician's assistants. Like, no one's ever said anything. That's how everyone pronounced it. Perineum. per annum. Well, then again, I can't say much because I learned very recently that everyone's been saying cell death the wrong way. Everyone thought it was apoptosis, and evidently it's apoptosis. I was, I learned something new this semester. Apoptosis. Onion. Drink some more Mrs. Dragg's tea from the other day. Oh. I'm supposed to be cooking. The way I've been saying, you like perineum better? Perineum? That's the one funny thing about stuff in the medical field. There's a few different ways to say things. I don't make a big deal about it. I just think it is funny that there's different ways. Perineum. The biggest conversation I've ever had about pronunciation was the word kiwawa. It's some type of tea. I don't know. I have no idea. No, she got this from Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and yeah. Oh, you want it now? You gonna make these grits, or you want me to make them? You want me to cover it up because you definitely have never been seen on camera. So yeah. I already got everything. I got the pot right there, and I got the. What else do you need? You got a YouTube channel. I don't know why you pretend like you don't exist now. Anyway, you know we're supposed to do part 3, right? Okay. She's mad. Maybe her perineum is itching. I don't know. Does anyone know Roblox? Yes, unfortunately I know about Roblox. Yeah, it's sweet tea. I don't do peach tea or raspberry tea, or I don't do any of that shit. Yeah, I know. I don't. She's weird. I can't explain my wife. I wish I could tell you. Like, I have no idea. Whatever. She doesn't want to be. You know, it is what it is. Right now, Mrs. D does not exist. She only exists on her channel. Mandela effect, or lateral Mandela effect. I don't know. That works. You want me to move into the living room? Is that better? You want to move the living room? You don't care? Then I want to point the camera over here then. It says you don't care, so. It's your perineum. Ooh, shit. I'm going to warn you, I was washing dishes earlier. You need glass and food. Want me to take it out? You need... Oh, I think I threw the other one away because it was cracked. Mrs. D is the breadwinner. Technically, yes. Does she pay most of the bills? No. No, she does not. Because we're a team. She's not my bitch. Well, not outside of the bedroom. Yes. Outside of the bedroom. What are you doing? There's water right here. It's right there. What are you doing? Where are you going? Why do you need a measuring cup in the room? What the hell are you doing? I am the breadwinner. Yes! She's a breadwinner and I'm the bedwinner. I win every time. She wins only when she gets pregnant. So far I'm pretty successful. You know, the score is 1 in 360. I won again last night. So that's honestly the sad part is it's like Oh yeah, we've gone so far off track. So I have unsubbed from Gtard. I wasn't subscribed to Ronnie. I wouldn't subscribe to Veckel, nothing like that. So, uh, you know, no, she wins when she gets pregnant. So, but have you thinking about baseball? No, no, no. Sammy was aptly timed. We have a Three Black Heathens show tonight, so why not? You know. There is a bit of play that goes on between me and Mrs. Dragnot, and a mental exercise that I will use to say, you know what, I refuse coitus, and I will think of a particular person in this community, and that will help me with that decision. So I won't say who. Anyway, you know. So join Great Debate Gaming. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Right. I'm trying to see what you're doing over here. I'm trying to see how you make the grits. So, strange compulsion. Well, no, the conversation just kind of, it went from, you know, me saying, you know what, you know, other than just saying don't be like those guys, you know, obviously we're going to mention them, but not make entire hangouts about, you know, just focusing on them, but because they're going to come up naturally in conversation. But just like Jason Burns. But then it went to kind of, you know, I did post a screenshot today on G Plus of me unsubbing, but I did see Tommy and him talking about the inefficiency of CRISPR technology, and of course he got an article from newscientist.com. I'm not even really familiar too much with that outlet, but I know I've seen it around, and they shared something from, I think, some other site, I don't know. What time is the show tonight? That's a good question. Let me not get the time zone incorrect. And I'm just going to go and tell you how many hours from now. Yeah, because there was... I think I might have to update... Facebook, because I think I fucked up the time zone. Yeah, I found the original article, read it, and responded. Okay, yeah, I haven't looked at it since, but I asked Tommy, like, Tommy, what's your experience using CRISPR technology? Have you found it to be inefficient, Tommy? Yeah. Like, I love that he likes to... And you know what? I've noticed we have a new guy who... He's in the community, and he is under the impression that he can speak on topics, like it stands shoulder to shoulder on people who genuinely have like years of experience in the area or in the field. And I'm like, now there has to be a certain point where you acknowledge that having knowledge on a topic will help you, one, to make your argument, and to understand what the hell's going on. Like I don't know how you square that circle. And that's some jungle jargon. No, not jungle jargon. The funny thing is that accepting that it causes increased cancer risk requires Tommy to also accept the mainstream consensus on cancer. Right? And so that perfectly encapsulates the bullshit with Tommy, and I'm going to talk about that. So it'll be in 5 hours. The show's in 5 hours, August 5th, 8 p.m. And this is... My iPad is set to Eastern time, so actually, no, it's not. No, so it is... What time is my iPad? Because it's 2... Yeah, there's something wrong with this iPad. Yeah. But it says on here on my iPad, the wrong damn time. This is an hour ahead, and it's saying live in 5 hours at 8 p.m. But then in 5 hours, it'll be 7 on here. But I don't know. Anyway, just go to the page, set the reminder. There you go. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I am. Boy, he got pissed at Nico with that. But that's the weird thing. Like Tommy will play fast and loose with what scientific consensus is and whether or not he'll agree with it or not, and it has nothing to do with the availability of information. It has y'all would never guess what this phone's attached to. And I won't tell you either. But that's the weird thing to me about Tommy is that he doesn't see that hurts his argument. Like he doesn't see that it makes him look terrible. It makes him look like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and that he's just wishy-washy, right? Because if he is just on the ball and this is his position and this is where he gets his information from and he knows and this is being able to be validated through whatever means that he finds most efficient, it obviously can be seen that Tommy goes based on his personal credulity. That is it. That is absolutely the standard that Tommy uses. And sometimes he'll let that out. Like he'll be upfront with that and say, well, this is what I think. Well, Tommy, based on your knowledge on this topic, from your years of research and from whatever studies you've been doing on YouTube, what do you think is the case? Excuse me if I don't believe that people watching random YouTube videos gives them any mastery on any number of topics. I think that supplements, yes. YouTube videos can supplement someone's knowledge, but if you've not actually like cracked open the fucking book, or you've not actually been to lectures, it's kind of hard to say. But of course, the true test is being able to, teach someone else. After you obtain that mastery, being able to show and demonstrate that you can apply this knowledge. And I think that too often that we encounter people here who have fooled themselves into thinking that they understand topics as well as they think that they do. And then when people go, no, your entire, like, you have a gross conceptual error dealing with this one specific area, I don't think that they're able to actually accept that. So it makes me wonder, like in their real life, how do they take that? How do they take someone saying, you know what, if we're laying, if someone's, let me just pick just a task that takes a bit of methodology. So if you're building a deck, right, and you're with someone who's been in carpentry for 20-something years, he's built hundreds of decks, and you've helped someone build 2 decks, right? So I got this, but you couldn't actually like build it on your own. And so you're stepping into this arena, and this guy is putting down, 2x2s in an area where, you're putting down 4x4s. Don't ask me why, but whatever, right? And so the guy explains to you the methodology. Well, if you do it here, you can save space towards the end, and you think you might be reinforcing this, but it's really not. It really just adds to the wear of the deck, whatever. This is just a hypothetical, but it is odd that for whatever reason, the person who has less knowledge seems to think that he can just get one up on the person who has more knowledge on the topic. Well, does that mean, well, just because you have more knowledge on the topic that you're inherently right on the topic? No. I think that, all things given, if what you have put forth, what you can bring to bear can be demonstrated, you have the empirical evidence, you have the consensus of others behind you, I think you can show what is the case. And I think that we've been pretty successful in building a society based on people's expertise and being able to rely on experts in the field and people who are just simply truly novel and
innovative. But now the internet has brought forth a legion of individuals who have attached themselves to certain beliefs and are so beholden to those beliefs that they've convinced themselves that everyone else is mistaken and that they are truly onto something miraculous or they're onto something novel or what have you. And that the way that they've gone about it is because it's different, because it's unorthodox, and it somehow has to have more merit than what's already established. And so that to me is very interesting. That to me, given my background, given where I've come from, very orderly, structured, kind of, organization that values rank and file, but also the different tiers of or echelons of expertise and ability that literally come down to being able to trust on this system and be utilized in saving of people's lives or the preservation of people's lives. Um, I find that having someone who is not from that background or any similar background that would require such a structure, um, the fact that someone would have the audacity to even begin to challenge that is amazing to me. And yeah, this is just me speaking personally. This is just my personal opinion. But I it it is miraculous that they're somehow able to maintain some semblance of adulthood or maintaining what it is to I guess be independent while also entertaining the idea that their uh, cursory understanding of topics is somehow good enough to truly engage in intellectual discourse and to get down to the bottom of things. But maybe but maybe I have their goals wrong. Maybe I have their conclusion wrong. Maybe I'm simply looking at it as someone who is simply a product of what's been produced and tried and tested and proven effective. of And they are simply on the cutting edge of something that will revolutionize our society. Maybe there'll be a legion of YouTube savants who simply know more than the rank and file college graduate, from X number of years from formal study and of whatever field, and then they can excel and they will uh, do whatever it is that they believe that they'll do to help influence society. Um, Chris, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That post that Tommy made today, I made a comment underneath that, and I asked him about his personal usage of CRISPR because I've yet to have a chance to use it, so I can't speak on its efficacy because I know of one person in my life that's actually used CRISPR, and he was referencing its efficacy in his studies, but um, it was based on certain parameters that he had set and the results that he has gotten and in comparison to what other people in his lab had gotten. So I think that he understands a little bit more about this topic than Tommy, simply perusing like whatever pop science articles that he can find and connecting it with something like some weird presumption that he's made from the onset. And I guarantee you, asking him as to where he thought that, where does he think that he's going with any of the shit that he's saying, it is going to be a quagmire, to say the least. I think that's the best way to describe finding the end point in a conversation. If you actually were to engage him, it's just a fucking quagmire because he has no fucking idea. Absolutely none. I thought we just kind of picked Tommy and rag on him quick. Well, yeah, I just kind of used him as an example because he's one of these guys. Okay. For the life of me, I don't understand some of these folks. I don't understand what their goals are in relation to what they're actually doing. Let me explain. um, First, let me put some light in here because it's too dark. I'll make dinner tonight, dear. Actually, no. So probably, I think it's his turn to buy dinner, huh? Yeah. No, fuck me. Okay. Um, so let me think about this for a second. Let me think about a way I can, because I've had this conversation with folks off air, and I'm trying to think of a way to articulate it. So, you know what? Where's my iPad? I got an idea. I'm gonna get up in a second and go touch Mrs. Dragnot's butt in a minute, so you're gonna have to excuse me. I have to at least twice an hour. It's a requirement. I'm going to pick on Tommy for a minute. Just because we're already talking about him. But I want to... Yeah, it's a dehydration reaction. Yeah. Bobby, the answer to that is yes. That's what happens when you don't have a comprehensive understanding of biology. But somebody just sent me a text message. But we never got that far because we were so stuck on the fact that he had made a mistake in the first place, and he couldn't admit it. And so there's no ability to progress any conversation. Again, that's why some of these folks are worthless to have conversations with, because the things that we end up getting caught on are basic biology shit. When I mean basic, like second week shit. You can't whistle. Stop trying to whistle. This thing is taking fucking ever. Stupid ass like that. Yeah. You can't whistle. Just stop. I'm about to use your phone. Piece of shit. They give me a gift that doesn't even work. Okay. Anyway. Let's go for memory. If I misrepresent him, he'll let me know. And I'll correct myself. So what Tommy does, at least what I observe, like if you're gonna come over here and fuck with me, you might as well come on camera. We doing part 3 today, by the way, since you won't be on camera and make noise. So all right, because people have been asking about that. You fuck with me. Fuck. Damn it. All right. So here's if you're wondering what I observe from my perspective, I see a guy who really he wants to be, and this is me psychoanalyzing Tommy, full disclosure, a guy who wants to be understood, a guy who yearns to be of some influence, not famous, but he wants to be somewhat influential, and he would like to be recognized for what he feels are his strengths and his convictions. Okay. Nothing too crazy, right? Nothing too crazy, but I think that he may lack the security and the affirmation in real life to really pursue those goals, and that his checkered past with education, I believe, in his mind, kind of precludes him from really getting into the topics that he finds interesting. And even though these convictions are strong, he doesn't have the temerity to really go at it and to strive past these hurdles in his mind. And he's allowed fear, and I'm pretty sure there are real life obligations that he has now, like a family, that would make it difficult yet not impossible for him to pursue those goals. And so his way of kind of like vicariously living out this image that he sees for himself is, getting on the internet and being a font of knowledge of sorts that people can kind of look to or turn to for information about specific areas. And so it is interesting to me that even though I feel Tommy has had a fraction of the challenges that I've had in my life, that he still won't actually take the steps needed to be as influential as he would like to be. I find it interesting that he would challenge those of us who have striven for some of the same goals. Honestly, some of the same exact fucking goals. So, and a bit about me, I guess for those of you who are new, I made a promise to myself years ago after I lost everything in Hurricane Katrina that if I had an opportunity to improve the lives of other people and to help them, that I would. And that was a personal thing, just for me, not to any deity, not to any thing in the sky or magic spirit or none of that shit. This was a personal conviction for me that is very important, because I learned a life lesson, that doesn't matter what you get, it can be gone. You can get it, you can work for it, and I had just worked for my very first computer. It was very important as a young teen to have worked at Party City, no less, and I've gotten something I really, really wanted for a long time, working computer to play video games on, and I'm going to kick you. And that was then destroyed. I worked for so many months, waited for so long, been left out, and it's gone. So then that kind of leaves you in a place of despair. But I did have my health. I did have my safety, and there were people along the way. And by the way, Nate has a very, very similar story. His is a bit more dire than mine in a lot of aspects, but he has a very similar story where the kindness that people had been shown was shown towards me by others, and that had a lasting impression, and that people were in a position to help out folks, and they helped out me, because I remember getting clothes and stuff like that, and going to a FEMA camp and getting clothes and toiletries and shit like that. So I remember that, and I still to this day still remember that. And I said, if I'm ever in a position to do that, I'm going to make sure that my family is secure and eventually independently wealthy. That is actually a good goal of mine, because I never want to be broke ever again in my life. Part of that's taken care of now, with VA compensation, but building wealth for my family is definitely a goal, so I can pass that along to future generations. But to a larger degree, to help beleaguered neighborhoods, because there are kids who unfortunately are in really shitty situations, whether it be through systemic discrimination or just intra-racial issues such as colorism or what have you, and they're struggling to be successful, and their potential is potentially being curtailed by all of these different hurdles in life, these challenges. And so some of them may need help facing that adversity, and that if I can act as a beacon to say, look, you know what, I've gone through shit too, but the fact that you don't let fear and all these other things, the fact that you don't succumb to them should be something that you can then use, and then you can pass that along. And so that's what I like to hear about. I like to hear that not that people have gone through shit, because everyone's gone through shit to different measures. I'll never really have to worry about being raped by a man, so I don't know what it's like, from a woman's perspective, being, having that done to me, or having, spouse abuse, or having, I'm about to do some spouse abuse. She keeps messing with me, but there's certain things I don't, but at the same time, I think that having the ability to say, yes, these things won't preclude you from being successful is important. And so a guy named Monty Stickman, a friend of Scientist Mel's, made it. We will put his contact information up if y'all want to get in contact with the artist, Monty Stickman. But and so that's why I've volunteered to at both of my institutions now. I was on the billboard for Cecil College, and I don't know how many people saw that. I don't know how many people recognize that, but that it hopefully it meant something to somebody. So these goals that some of these guys have to be influential, I've actually done it. I already have. There's a guy that I work with at Home Depot who, he was morbidly obese. This man was well over, like, he was 400 pounds. 400 bucks. And you can go look him up on Facebook. His name is Caleb Doucette. Go look him up. Go ask him. If you don't believe me, go look him up. He worked with me in Lafayette, Louisiana at Home Depot, and he saw that I was losing weight and joined the Army, and he lost well over like 150 pounds. And that was before he shipped, And so I didn't know that I could have that effect on people. So I said, okay, well, let me do something with that. And so now, hopefully, I have an even bigger impact on people here in Houston. Who knows? But the stuff, these ideas that these guys put out there, and that's why I laugh. Like, I genuinely laugh at these guys. What was amygdalin? What makes amygdalin dangerous is that it contains a nitrile group, which is a carbon that's triple bonded to a nitrogen. But they want to be influential. Some of them want to influence people to come to Jesus. Which is fine. Whatever. Even if that's what you want to do, fucking fine. But I'm looking at this like, how are you living your life? Don't tell me to change my fucking life and how I'm doing things when you're doing worse than me. That's what I look at. That's honestly what I look at. If you are doing less than me, if you're doing half or a fraction of the shit that I'm doing and the progress that I'm making, why the fuck am I listening to you at any point in time? Why am I lowering myself to your level? Because that's what it comes to at the end of the day. That's why I will never listen to any of these fucking dudes. They can say wherever I will never, ever, 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 ever be like Dragnot. That's fine. You don't need to be successful. You can be shit. You don't have to. And the success, and let me not sit here and pretend like I've obtained something fucking great. No. I'm on a path to greatness. Absolutely. If you don't like me saying that, you can kiss my ass. Because if you aren't dedicating yourself to trying to make the world a better place for the people around you and for the people in the future, then what are you doing? What better goal in life is there than to do that? Because if you're telling people you want better for them you want them to come to Jesus, well, you're not focused on really what's in this world. You're focusing on some world that may exist after their death. And so you want them to dedicate this life towards getting other converts so everyone can hop on the boat and go to the afterlife together and have a big old party and whatever. Being facetious, but you get my point. Again, which is fine, but how are you going about that? Are you going to scare someone into submission? You're going to scare them? Because that's what I see with a lot of these folks. I see them trying to scare people if you're motivated by fear, then you're weak. I'm gonna say it right now, because that's what I heard when I go back to listening to these clowns and listen to and this includes my own family, by the way. This includes my own fucking family, and I find them weak too. And if they got a fucking problem, they know where to find me. They know what my number is. They got me on Skype. They know how to contact my mom. And I will tell them that. Do you not think that I've expressed this to my own mother? You'll know me very well. Fear should not motivate you in that way. You should fear for the safety of your kids, right? I fear, if there's a deranged man going to elementary schools, right? That's a legitimate fear. But fear, paralyzing fear, because you're going to be thrown in a lake of fire? No. Now, fear in the aspect of reverence, it's a bit different. It's a bit different there. I can understand that. But even then, that's a hard pass for me. Because you got to have a pretty fucking high standard for that, at least in my mind. But now let me think about something. Let me bring this back. When you have somebody like Tommy arguing against scientific consensus and then utilizing scientific consensus when it suits him, it tells me that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. One, two, that he's willing to be intellectually dishonest when it suits him. He's willing to, simply play fast and loose with facts, and actually that might relate to the second one, which then I'll just be repeating myself. It's not a good look overall. It is not a good look for him, because it tells me that he doesn't have any actual convictions. At least not like he says. His conviction is, well, let me profess what I believe to be the case. I don't know. It doesn't matter if I need to be a little dishonest here and there. All that matters is that I get out what I get out, and people believe what the fuck I'm saying. Well, if me and Tommy are out there, and we're both put on a platform, actually two separate platforms. People know our backgrounds. People understand our positions. Who are people going to listen to? The guy who has actually striven and advanced past any and all adversity, or the country boy who really hasn't had near as many challenges and hasn't actually striven for much of anything other than the easy way out and this easy believe whatever fuck you want, fanatical, believe whatever nature provides you will cure you as some magical fucking panacea. Or the dude who's actually trying to do research and answer the hard questions with actual answers that may not be so simple. Who knows? No, Dr. Rich, no. I've if you're just not tuning in, I've unsubscribed from G Idiot. He can go down a ditch, figuratively speaking. Go fucking sweat in his fucking attic. But in general, I'm talking about just the level of individuals that we encounter. Ditch. The level of discourse that happens here, and I'm not very impressed. I'm not impressed with them as people, and that's probably why I don't have a lot of respect for them, because I don't respect them as people. I don't respect people that you could have asked me to pick that up. You want me to carry that? Okay. I don't respect them as people because they claim to have convictions, but then they don't want to actually work towards making that conviction a reality. Like, they want to get on the internet, pretend they know shit, and they really don't. Like, long story short. And that to me is just, it's cowardice. This is weak. It's everything. It is diametrically opposed to what I am and what I would like to be as a person. And I don't find somebody who just employs Mexicans to do all the work for him while he sits around and peruses fucking random news articles and then has the audacity to tell people who are learning or have been in these fields for X number of years that they're wrong. I'm like Like that literally, like, I need to get some water because that baffles the fuck out of me. Literally have a motherfucker in Switzerland right now who's making the motherfucking vaccines, and this fucking hillbilly is doing what? He's hiring fucking immigrants to do work for. He can't even do his own goddamn work, but he's gonna criticize like the efficacy, like the result of other people's work and the efficacy of the things that they produce. Like, that's what gets, like, I don't have actual real life experience dealing with some bullshit like that. That really blows my mind. Like, I can't even imagine what leg would he have to stand on to even begin to judge the quality of someone's fucking work, or even implicate them in some weird fucking conspiracy that he cooked up from some other fucking asshole who knows nothing about dick. Like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine where he gets that from. Like, I would love for him to tell me, well, I got on YouTube and I decided to tell a guy with a PhD in fucking, biochemistry, who has been literally over the last 10 years been a lecturer in many different universities, has owned his own company, has been a consultant in a number of other companies for QA6 assessments, a green belt in Sigma 6, Sigma 6. And it's just like, but because I think he's a part of this conspiracy that people need to listen to me and take me seriously. What? What? In what universe do people take you seriously? I wonder. A part of me wonders if people in these folks' lives take them seriously. Because I know people in my real life do. They actually do, and they shouldn't. They should. And I'll hopefully say that people take me more seriously than they should. But it makes me wonder. Like, does anyone actually take them? Like, do they express these views in real life? And do people actually take them seriously? Because I wouldn't. I'd say, you full of shit, man. Are you fucking stupid? No. Like, do they have anyone? But I don't think so, because even here, they won't really tolerate people who tell them that they really don't have a lot of knowledge on the topic. Like, that is like the worst thing in the world to tell some of these folks. But folks, they tell me that all the time. It's like, well, Drag, you don't understand. What were we talking about? Drag, you really don't understand epistemology that well. Okay, you're probably right, man. Absolutely. And I say, you know what, dude? Said, shit. Do you even know what epistemology is? The study of knowledge, study how we know things. Okay, something like that. Yeah, if I got to ask that question, I probably don't. Okay, you're right. That's literally it. That's the whole. Okay, cool. I accept it and say, okay, well, then let's rectify that. Let's have a conversation. Let's go over it. Like, I don't. To me, and I think that's the difference in the mentality. It's that I won't pretend to know how economies work. I defer to economists. Like, I don't. That's not my area. Like, I don't. For me, I think I see where the issue is. I think because I don't see it as a mar on my image to say I don't know about something, but they do. Because Tommy knows that I can, and I have, and I do need to get some water. Tommy knows that I will use that against him if he doesn't know about something. But there's only one way that I'm able to do that, and make him ashamed. There's only one way that I'm able to do that. And I tell him what it is. I'll say, Tommy, when you put yourself out there and you're telling people, like, you're telling folks, well, I have the answers. These people who are experts in the field, they're part of this conspiracy, they got it wrong. Well, then, Tommy, that means you have comparable fucking knowledge to them. That means you know this topic well enough to challenge them. You have to have a certain requisite level of knowledge to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go and kick Neil deGrasse Tyson in the shin and then expect him to fucking yell. It's not going to happen. That's my 1/3 white privilege. 1/3 white privilege. It's it's amazing to me that he thinks that that's a thing. Like, no, I'm not ever going to come to my mentor, who I'm doing research with here in the future, and tell him he doesn't know about embryo implantation. There's nothing I can fucking say to him on that goddamn topic. Nothing at all. Other than, yes, at one point I was an embryo that was implanted inside my mother, and I know what the process is like, kind of, sort of. Other than that, no. I can go watch as many YouTube videos as I want to. It's not going to make up for that gap. Like, there's a huge fucking gap. Now, mind you, he doesn't hold himself, he's not beyond reproach. But man, if he's on his A game, if he's had his coffee, he's going to school us. I mean, that might be why he's a professor. But like, it amazes me that these guys think that they can do that. He's 1/18 Native American, natural thing. Is that what it is? Is that he just puts his little toesies in the dirt and he can just be one with nature, and he can channel all that nature chakra? Is that what it is? That shit. Yeah. Okay. But I don't know. It's just it's a continued thing. But I think it has a lot to do with insecurity. Yes, prolapsed vaginas can be found here. All the women in the chat now are still suffering. They're still reeling from the prolapse. It happened earlier. It was marvelous, absolutely marvelous. But I think to me, the fact that there is a certain level of insecurity with Tommy and certain other inner circle CCP members, that they can't really rectify that within them. They can't actually address that. They're not going to sit down and get the knowledge that they need to fix that, to feel like they're knowledgeable. They're not, because that takes time. That takes years. It does. I'm telling you from personal experience, it takes years to really understand some of these topics and have a comprehensive understanding, and they don't want to do that. Sustains confluence of arrogance, delusion, ignorance, and stupidity. It is. It really is. And I tell folks too, it's like, this is the fact of the matter. You don't just step into this community and think that the people that you run across are on the same level as you. That's not true. It's not fucking true. Yeah, Mitch Much, Jared. I unsubscribed from G-Man, and I'm just kind of discussing kind of my perception of some certain folks in the community. And I'm just stream of consciousness right now. Just stream of consciousness, honestly. All right, I'm waiting for Mr. Drag to get done with breakfast too. But it's weird for me, because I don't find that saying that I don't know about something to be a mar against my image. But I think that is because I am secure with my knowledge. The fact that I am able to say, well, I do know a little bit about biology and a little bit about certain other topics, well enough to hold my own. But it's nowhere near that of other people, because I have, and it tells me, actually, that's a good point, because I've been criticized by certain inner circle dick suckers that Drag has had to defer to other people when this topic came up. Well, yes, absolutely. Why the fuck wouldn't I? Like, are you dumb? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit. That right there tells me something, because they're willing to pretend, because we know that some of these guys don't have any formal education on any of these topics. We've already gotten past that, right? And that is a mar against them, because they want to put shit out there as if they do. Absolutely. But the fact that they think that, okay, well, Drag is going to defer to CRISPR on this. Well, yes. If CRISPR has years of experience in the field, one of the fields I'm trying to get into, then why wouldn't I lean on his knowledge when it comes to the proliferation of certain cell lines, for instance? I'm just using one. And I did. We actually had a sit down when we were talking about was it HEK 293 cells? because he has experience with those. So why wouldn't I lean on it? Are you done? Okay. So that's why you tripped on it and you almost broke my Xbox.
Why is this on the freaking floor?
Because it's been on the floor this entire time. You ain't tripped on it. So, of course, I'm going to lean on his knowledge because he knows more than me about the fucking topic. Easily. So, it's interesting that True would make that statement, and he thinks that it's a mar against my knowledge. Well, it should tell people a few things, that I know my limitations, and that I also have a resource for learning about this topic further. So how exactly is that a mar? Unless my goal here was to make people think that I am a font of knowledge and that I am all-knowing, at least in some aspect, that would be the only way that it would be a mar. But that's not what I put out there. That's not something that I've ever professed. So it makes me wonder, if he thinks that, is this a bit of projection? Because if he only references people, experts or whatever, does he, in his mind, does he think that gives the illusion that he actually understands these topics? Because, mind you, we had 6 to 8 months talking about DNA dissolving in water. That right there solidified it for everyone that he has no fucking idea what the hell he's talking about. Throughout that whole ordeal, I was putting DNA in water in a lab. And others of us who actually have worked in a lab have been doing it for quite some time. It's a non fucking controversial issue at no point in time, other than to the fucker who can't actually admit that he royally fucked up. But that's a personality defect from someone, and then you can't have conversation with someone like that. But it's already in water. Yeah, but we can't even, Chris, we couldn't even get to that. Like we could have easily gone, okay, well, what is cytoplasm? What is that? What is the, like, one of the main constituents of cytoplasm? Wait till people like look that up. Like that could have fucking ammonia. Ammonia. That's one of the main. Is it? You fucking with me. The something salts. Oh well. Oh, thank you. That was the other thing too. Salt. He said that brine. He was saying something about brine in our initial conversation. Or was that in a conversation with Hogtie, where he was saying that the brine would do something? I don't even remember. Dude, it's been fucking years. I don't want to go and relive this shit. Remember his ammonia-based aqueous? No! Ammonia-based aqueous solution. Oh my God. What? Oh God, that must have been. Holy shit. Oh, I'm gonna have to look at the document again. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do remember him saying salt stabilized, and I think that's what I was gonna say. That was precipitated. I'm like, that's around the same time he had a conversation with Hogtie, and I think Hogtie was asking him about what happens, because what he was essentially doing. That's the quote. Most scientists use water for the aqueous solution. Sometimes they use ammonia. Oh, okay. That's where it came from. Oh, fuck me running. Like, just don't make me relive that, Christopher, please. Just like this is the stupid shit here, man. I'm sorry. There's wrong, and then there's fractally fucking wrong. Like there's no debate about what shit happens in fucking chemistry. Like we literally. Like some of y'all, I have videos of me working with this shit. Do you think I would have gotten the results? Like, just let's think about this for a second. Let's think about this. Like this, fuck all the bullshit. If you were to put me and Ronnie in a tissue culture fucking lab, right? Knowing the shit that he has said, knowing the shit that he knows right fucking now, Do you think that he could keep a cell line running for a month straight and successfully fucking passage cells to 3, 4, 5 generations? Is anyone under the illusion that he could actually do that based on the shit that he has already said? Because I can tell you right now, they wouldn't last 2 days. Well, based on his aqueous solutions, he's gonna have a pH issue. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Of the fucking media, I don't think I think he fuck up the media, honestly, because that's the first step is getting your media straight, and then seeding your fucking initial set of cells. But they wouldn't even last a night because the pH would be off. But like it's no surprise that he's not actually doing any of this shit. It's not. Like I don't know. I'm not sure in what lab they don't use milli-Q water. Well, let me add a caveat. It doesn't have to be milli-Q, but it does have to be filtered to some degree. But it does not because I have to correct myself. Milli-Q references a particular filtering technique after it has been previously filtered from sediments and other things. So the milli-Q device itself specifically, what is it, 0.05 nanometer for the pores in the actual filter for the milli-Q. Someone feel free to correct me. I can't remember the actual size of the milli-Q device, but yeah, that references something specific, and I caught myself there. It's a small point, but yeah, nanopore filters and UV treat. Thank you, Nether. So that's what I use when I have it available. So Jesus Christ, that's funny. We buy bottles of molecular bio-grade water for looting. It's pure the milli-Q, really? Well, rational mind, I don't think we could afford that. I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. I don't think we can. Not so great if you're doing high quality extractions for sensitive downstream application. Like we're not even close to doing shit like that, CRISPR. From what I've been told that our sequencer is down. You might ask, well, which sequencer? That's a good question. I'll find out that when I go back to school next month. But I was told that our sequencer isn't even working, so I'm just like, man, we might need that for what we're doing. We might just need that. That's a little disconcerting that it's still not fixed. So, but there's I don't think that anyone's under any illusion, other than some of these guys, that there's no way that any of these guys are gonna like. And I've invited Tommy. Like, if you want to come and step in the lab with me, man, and do some science, man, we can do some science. You know, we can do it. Oh, Mark, my moron went to. Oh, you. I'm guessing you pulled that straight from the League of Reason website. Yeah. It's cheaper to do them in house. Yeah, we have the milli-Q, millipore system set up, and it's in the biochemistry lab, in between the lecture room and the actual laboratory. It's set up in a hallway in between them. It's really weird how they have it set, and it's not supposed to be a thoroughfare, but that's where they have it, with a cart underneath it. So that was shown to us a few weeks ago. Well, while school was still in session. So, and how to change out the I'm smacking my lips now. Well, and how to change out the filters for all that good shit. So, I never had to, but eventually I will, along with the crowd press. Oh, I need to actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and end this and get some breakfast. I'm gonna find the video and upload that of me doing the crowd preservation. I think y'all would like that, so y'all could see what happened. And it's a small crowd preservation fucking unit. It's probably, let's see, it's probably this big, right? And it's about that small, and it has wheels, and it's I I forget the brand name, but it's not very big, but it's still liquid nitrogen. It will still fucking, you know, damage your skin. So yeah. MB grade water is about 225 per liter. Well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'd have to ask Dr. R. Why? Because I'm pretty sure we don't actually buy it. Ellen. To onion? No. I've not gotten any liquid nitrogen on me. No, I'm not trying to get it on me. That's the key thing. I'm not trying to, because I've even with the fucking gloves on, I can feel that shit. It's cold as fuck. I'm not trying to touch that shit. I am not. Let me tell you right now, I am not trying to touch that shit. Because I picked up because I had we were practicing passaging our cells, and then I got mine to like the 3rd generation, and then we had to do cryopreservation, and I put in the dimethyl sulfoxide, and I remembered it this time, the dimethyl sulfoxide solution into like I pulled out the media of my cells, and then I put in the new media, which had the DSMO in it, and I put it in the fucking nunk tube, and then pulled out, I think it was like tray A of in the cryo storage, and so I went and I got it a few days later. So that's that's my experience with the cryopreservation. But I successfully brought them back up from cryopreservation, and I got all the did I say DSMO again? It's DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. Excuse me, DMSO. So I did that, but what I fucked up because I was supposed to do transfection using fucking what is it? Calcium. Was it the calcium sulfate? No, it's gonna bother me now. It wasn't electroporation. It was calcium. Shit. God damn it! It's. I can see it. I can see the bottle, but I can't remember. Fuck me. Oh man. Anyway, what I was unsuccessful in trying to transfect the cells that I brought up, because I think when I made a new bottle of media, I fucked up with something. I think I ended up, because I had the heat inactivated MEM with the fetal bovine serum and the PSG, but I think one of them may have been expired. I think that's what happened. Why don't we use electroporation? We don't. Like for this part. Well, for that last experiment that we did, we didn't use electroporation. It might have been we didn't have the right equipment. But I've seen the electroporation equipment. Like it was shown to us, but I'm not sure if we had enough for all of us to use. So we use the other technique, because there's 3 techniques that I know of. Electroporation is one of them. The calcium. I can't remember the name of the other ion, but whatever the other one is, and there's another one that is slipping my mind right now, but it's shit. And I'm forgetting it. When does Orgo 1 start? It starts this fall. The ones with the lipofection. Is that what it is? Liposuction, where it's pretty much you wrap it in the lipids, and then that lipid fucking DNA complex then gets sucked into the cell. Is that the way? I think it's called liposuction. Lipo liposuction might be it, but I think that's the second one. Yeah, I'm trying to remember it, and it's still fairly early. But anyway, yeah, I was unsuccessful. I think my shit was bad. My media and then my cells turned out they looked like ass. So, when you need functional groups, method to teach undergrads. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I will definitely hit you up. I'm waiting to get my. I am waiting to get my syllabus so I can see specifically what I need to focus on. So I will be looking on, I think on Amazon, I found the book that we're going to be using for Orgo 1. So I'm going to see if I can snatch that up here real soon. But I do need to start with that. Thank you, LeBest student. Thank you. So I think immutable is around too, because I think chemistry is his area. But anyway. I'm going to go and read what Tommy has to say about CRISPR technology and get my laugh on. I don't know if, I guess Brett's still asleep. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. He's probably still asleep. He's going to pay for dinner tonight. So anyway, catch y'all later, folks.